I guess we can have a few square houses. I mean, not every house has to be interestingly shaped. Although actually, this one... It's, I mean, there's not really enough room here for anything. Can have like a garden for that house. And then how do we start here? So if we leave like 3 blocks in between houses, 1, 2, 3, the next house has to start there, which there's not enough room to do anything until we're around about back here. And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, leave a gap. So at most we do that. And then we diagonal this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, leave a gap. And this house, like there's no room for anything else, so it's gonna have to be there. And like there. So this is a house. 1, 2, 3, gap. Wait a minute. Did I leave too much room here? What I think I should do is, in fact, push this across by 1, make it a little bit bigger. 1, 2, 3 in between the houses. And then... Alright, I mean, it's still kind of square, these houses. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, because there's no room for anything else. 1, 2, 3, and then the building starts here, except here we do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, the building starts here. This becomes a long, narrow house. Maybe 3 blocks is a little bit much. Or maybe we just have a long, narrow house. 1, 2, 3, there, and there. The inside of the house is like only 3 blocks wide. Long, narrow houses are okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with long, narrow houses. It might even like go up and down, because like we're halfway up. So this one might be a 2-story house, except the entrance is like halfway in between the 2 stories. I'm not sure if there's enough room for that, but we'll figure that out. Let's see, so I think I want raised foundations. Or do I have the foundations flush with the... Stop carrying carrots. Or do I have the foundations flush with the surrounding ground? Raised foundations, flush foundations. So pretty much, so the only raised foundations we have so far are the inn and the town hall. But those are fairly large buildings. Just walked into a cactus. Those are fairly large buildings, right? Usually houses, they're raised a little bit. They're not raised by a whole meter. So I'm just looking at my own house now. Like the ground, like the floor on the inside of the house is maybe 150 millimeters above the ground on the outside. So it's quite low. So I guess we don't raise it because it's kind of ridiculous to have your house a whole meter off the ground. That's not really sensible. Alright, we're gonna have it flush with the ground. What kind of foundations do we want? Well, it doesn't really matter because you can't see the foundations, right? Well, it kind of does. It kind of does matter. Let me spruce log foundations. Log foundations. Is that too much? All right, let's just start from this house. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that this house has log foundations. Or maybe it's just a log house. Like the whole house is just log. Might be too much. Seems a bit much if the whole house is log. So the entrance, I guess we want two entrances. Let's have an entrance on this side as well. Entrance that side. A front door, back door. 2 doors? 3 doors? I mean, the inside of the house is not very big. We can say that. There might be more useful space if we put the door there. A log house? Is that too much log? I don't really know. A log house and dark oak at that. Let's make it a 3 blocks tall on the inside, and then we have the roof. Let's put that there. That there. Well, I mean, this is one way to use up a lot of logs very quickly, right? If you have log houses. Alright. What kind of floors do we want? Since the walls are so dark, let's have some lighter colored floors. Let's have some acacia. I like the color of the acacia, but let's keep it birch for now. Alright, birch floors. So if each house has 2 doors, then we end up having less than 1 villager per house. Unless I make this a double door, which would then make it into a 1 villager house. Let's do that. Let's make this a double door. Because I want more villagers, right? Let me make this a double door. We go like that. There, and then roof. Also, what kind of doors do we want? Let's have the birch doors. Let's go with that. And we'll stick these on the outside. Hey, cool. Haven't seen those doors before in this world. That's a bit odd. Let me just move that out a little bit. So let's have like a torch by the door. And a torch by the door. And then some light on the inside. Alright. And then the roof. What should we do for the roof? What should we do for the roof? Birch again? I mean, we can birch again. Just to turn it into like a two-tone house. Interesting windows. You can just walk out of them. I'm not sure if those windows do anything. We're gonna do a bit more with the windows. I'm gonna do that, that, and that with the windows. Alright, now you can't just walk out of them. Alright, so birch planks. Or birch stairs. Let's have stairs. Because this is like a one-story house. Let us make the okay, that's all that. Let's just make the roof a bit taller. And we want overhang. Do we want an overhang? Maybe we don't want an overhang. An overhang seems a little bit much. But then what's wrong with being a little bit much, am I right? Let me figure out this staircase. So it is going to stop. Maybe no overhang. Maybe no overhang. Let's try no overhang. See how we feel. Or maybe overhang. Like, again, like why not overhang? Alright, let's try overhang. If I can get this right. I'm not sure I actually have enough birch wood for the. Alright, let's just come down here. We don't need to stair all the way to the top, right? We can have a little flat bit at the top. But let's just stair this bit at the very least. Alright, let's is that really all the birch that I have? Alright, well I guess we're not gonna use any more birch for ceilings or for floors. I guess we can use some more for floors. You use up resources so fast in this game. That is in the wrong position. Also, this is gonna have to stick out a little bit. Alright, so we do that, and then we do that. How interesting. Look at the shape of this house. It's not a square. How interesting. Okay, so let me get myself a layer of this in here. And then of course we do need that, and even that. Okay, and then one more layer of stair, I think, would be good. So if we continue the stair, there, 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 and around. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. Oh. And then we, well, we need more than that. We make 2 of those. And then we do this. And then we just leave the roof like that, I think. Let me just put that there. That should be enough light. Alright, let's see how this looks. Alright, there we go. We have a house. Dark oak log house. And it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. I mean, it's not a luxury condo, but it would do. I mean, I'll live in it. It's good enough for me. It's got a nice view. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that view! A nice view of the north gate. I can't quite see the north village, but that's a nice view. Look at that. Alright, there we go. So that's one house. The next house, what should we do about the next house? We need to use a lot of dark oak. So let us split. Let's make the door at this level. Let's make the door at this level, and it goes down and up and down. So this one's going to be kind of complicated. A 2-story house, which goes both up and down. So we're going to go with dark oak floors and roof for this one, I think. Maybe like acacia walls for color. Alright, so let me grab ourselves a bunch of dark oak wood. Actually, I do have some dark oak wood already. Let's make more. Alright, plank. So if we say that the acacia walls. How much acacia do I have? I have quite a bit. Okay. So acacia. Let's have acacia columns at the edges. And it only goes to this. It's a narrow house. So narrow houses are a thing in Japan. And the reason narrow houses are a thing in Japan is because at some point in Japanese history, the land tax, based on how wide your street front was, which is an interesting way to tax people. So But it kind of makes sense because if you say, well, the government builds the roads, then however wide your street front is, that's how much you need to pay the government for them to build and maintain your road. So that kind of, I mean, logically, it kind of makes sense. But what happens is because the land tax in historical Japan was based on street frontage, then you ended up with all these long, narrow properties with very small street front, but it still had enough living space inside the house because it kind of extended in quite a long distance. So now Japan has in some parts of Japan there's a lot of these really long narrow houses in order to minimize taxes back in the day when they were first built. So there's kind of these long narrow properties to minimize your property tax, which was based on a street front. So like with a really short street front, but a pretty long house behind it. So this long rectangular. So that's why Japan has these kind of interesting house shapes. Anyway, so that's that. We might even step up. We might even step up a block and have the floor up here. Yeah? Yeah. Step up a block, have the floor there. Let me put in the other corner of the house. Is back there. Or I guess we don't need stairs up and down. We can just have stairs down because we're up here. And therefore the stairs just go down 1, 2, 3. So down here the floor is like at this level.